Hi everyone. I wanted to share a couple of things today before my workday gets started. I was talking to someone last night about a couple of the resources that I've been reading for my course that I'm taking right now called Religion and Dense Meaning. And she was asking about the books that I was telling her that I was reading. So I just wanted to share a couple of those with you. One of the books I'm reading right now is Snodgrass, and it's called Stories with Intent. It's right here it says it's a comprehensive guide to the parables of Jesus. I really like this book. I haven't in the past ever read the Bible through an academic lens. I've always read the Bible and the parables in the Bible as Jesus telling me or giving me instructions on how to live, and that's completely valid. But with these books here, this one and this other book, it's called Kingdom, Grace, and Judgment, and that's by Robert. I actually don't know how to say his name, but these books here have given me a new way to look at parables and the parables of Jesus, and I love this one, Capon, or however you say his name. He separates the parables that Jesus tells in three categories. There are parables of the kingdom, parables of grace, and parables of judgment, and it's really awesome because when I read the parables and the Bible through the lenses that these two authors share, I don't just look at the parables as instruction for life, but I read them as a way to see who Jesus is. So the parables that Jesus shares, he is sharing it not just to tell us how to live, but to tell us about him. I know that sounds like very basic, but if you were to get these books and then you read the different frameworks that they create in order to read the parables, it'll make a whole lot of sense. It opened my eyes to reading the parables of Jesus. Okay, and then I wanted to share with you another one that I've been reading, and it's this one here. By the way, this is my online library from MBS, my little bookshelf. Okay, so is this book right over here. I'll open that. It's called Jesus Coming Soon. So Concordia University is a Lutheran Christian university. And so a lot of what we read in there will be from the Lutheran perspective. But I wanted to show you this one here. Yes, it's called Changing Signs of Truth. Let me get the title page. So this is what this looks like. And now, this is another really cool book because it helps you to see Christianity or faith through the changing times, all the different generations and all the different times that have passed, like how Christianity was presented, how the gospel was presented, and how the concepts, like even of salvation or being born again or any of those things, were signed and re-signed through the generations, and how we can use those ideas in order to make faith relevant to people here, because it's always relevant, but in communication the relevance sometimes gets lost. So this is another good book that I'm reading. Okay, so this is one that I was sharing with a friend last night, and I kind of want to give you an idea of how the study of these parables are broken up. So for example, this one author, he calls the parable of the lost, what do they call it? What do we call this? We call this the prodigal son. But this one is called the compassionate father and his two lost sons. So it goes down and it breaks it down by explaining the reading, tells you what type of parable it is, and the different issues surrounding this parable. And then also it gives you primary source material. This may show up backwards. Okay, sorry. Anyhow, yeah, primary source material and different ways that they looked at interpreting this through different Greco-Roman writings, later Jewish writings, textual features, and then I love the section where it has cultural information. So it gives you cultural information that'll help you to understand how to interpret this. So context is always important. So I really like this. I didn't know, where is it here? Oh yeah, so ideas like this, that responsibility falls to the eldest son in a family, but they also get double portion of the inheritance since the primary care of the parents would fall to him. Jews are prohibited from raising swine at all since the Old Testament labels them as unclean. The analogy between the prodigal who joined himself to a Gentile to feed pigs and tax collectors who joined themselves to Romans is very clear in this parable. Here it is. The elder and younger sons are understood to represent either Jews and Gentiles or the ostensibly just person and the penitent sinner. So all the different ways that this was interpreted throughout history, and the different ways that the older brother is interpreted and the younger brother is interpreted anyhow. So this is really good. So that's how these are broken up. But the one that I read the most, again, is this one here. Okay, so this is the one that I really like, and this one also goes over the parable of the forgiving father and the two sons. And you can see here, actually you can't really see, I need to think of a better way to do this, but this is where it talks about the parables of grace and how when this author speaks about parables of grace, it's always referring to how the parables show the significance or the importance of the death and resurrection of Jesus, and how we can access that through also dying to ourselves and having that experience of dying to ourselves and then being resurrected with Jesus. So perhaps I will post in my blog one of the little snippets, one of the maybe a section that I wrote in one of my analysis of some of these parables. But yes, so again, kingdom, grace, judgment, and stories with intent. Okay.